Snowy Brook last Thursday, Alyssa broke the American East all-time record with her 232nd career block. This past Sunday at UMass Lowell, she broke the Binghamton program record with her 237th career block. What makes Alyssa's accomplishment so impressive is that she broke both records in just 2.5 seasons. At this time, Director of Athletics Patrick Elliott and head coach Linda Semino will present Alyssa with a game ball commemorating both of these records. Congratulations to center ALYSSA JAMES on this outstanding accomplishment.
I'll take like 1% of the credit. It's like push.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dr. Viley Court at the Event Center on the campus of Binghamton University for tonight's American East Conference showdown between the UMBC Retrievers and Binghamton University Bearcats. At this time, we ask you to kindly please rise if you are able. Join and remove your hats. Join our players and coaches as we honor America and all of the brave men and women serving our country with the playing of our national anthem. Presenting the colors at center court this evening are members of the Binghamton University Kickline and Baxter. And here to perform our national anthem, the BU Pep Band, the Screamin' Green.
Gym class? Oh, the parachute? Oh yeah.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet tonight's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Retrievers of UMBC. At forward, a 5'11" freshman from Mount Brook, New Jersey, number 1, Jania Summers. At forward, a 6'2" sophomore from Rome, Italy, number 24, Lucrezia Costa. At guard, a 5'8" senior from West Nyack, New York, number 25, Laura Cristaldo. At guard, a 6' senior from White Plains, Maryland, number 31, Brittany Burgess. And at guard, a 5'10" sophomore from South Park, Pennsylvania, number 35, Alyssa McGrath. Director of Basketball Operations is Kayla Stroman, the graduate assistant Taylor McCarley. The assistant coaches Chelsea Barker Walsh and Courtney Philippitis. The associate head coach is Carly Cassidy Dewey. And the head coach of the UMBC Retrievers is Phil Stern.
Looks may be deceiving tonight in Vestal, New York. The Retrievers are 2-17 but they've started to find their offensive rhythm. On the flip side, the Bearcats are hoping to build off a record-setting win over the weekend. It's a midweek America East matchup, and it's next on ESPN3. We welcome you inside the event center tonight, where the Binghamton Bearcats host the UMBC Retrievers. I'm Tim Hyman. I'm joined by the one and only Chelsea Lascalzo. Chelsea, to a surprise of no one, a tight race in the America East standings at the moment. 4 teams separated by just 1 win.
And Binghamton and UMBC tonight coming here looking to pick up conference wins for both of them. Binghamton, like you mentioned, coming off a big win against UMass Lowell over the weekend, a 30-point win, and UMBC coming off a close loss, 3-point loss to Albany.
The Retrievers have picked up 1 win in conference play. They are 1-5, and right now a bulk of the offensive load has been shouldered by Laura Castaldo.
Yeah, she's one of their senior leaders. She finished with 19 the other night against Albany, and she has really been one of their players that has been consistent. You know, they've battled a lot of injuries, but Castaldo has been consistent, averaging about 12 points per game, and she has really been one of the players to continually mold their offense.
And on the flip side, for Binghamton's ALYSSA James, she etched her name to the record books, becoming the all-time blocks leader in Binghamton history.
Yeah, and you can see the other day against UMass Lowell, her picking up the record-setting block, and she's been a defensive impact all season long and throughout her career, and you can see she's able to be congratulated by her coach, Leah Bowers, who she beat, you know, overcame there in the record book. So it was a great win all around with some individual accolades, but I'm sure they were happy to pick up the conference win.
This is the first meeting between UMBC and Binghamton this season. Chelsea, what are our keys to the game?
So tonight for UMBC, they're looking to score in transition. They need to get out and set the pace early. They want to control the boards. They did a great job out rebounding Albany the other day, and it was a big factor of why they were able to keep that game so close. For Binghamton, they need to defend as a team. Where they've been successful is where they've been able to defend and score in transition, and they really want to continue to move the ball and get those good open looks.
We take a look at tonight's starters. They're presented by AdPro Sports. AdPro will outfit your organization with custom team uniforms, corporate apparel, and promotional products. The Retrievers look to Laura Castaldo, averaging nearly 12 points per game. Take a look at Binghamton starters as they look to defend their home floor. The Bearcats are 5-3 in this building, and they'll have Carly Boland back in the starting lineup for the 5th consecutive time.
Yeah, look to go for some size over Jasmine Cena, but you'll see them really switch in and out in some offense, defense as well.
Binghamton in white, UMBC in black. Tim Hyman, Chelsea Lascalzo, and we're underway from Vestal, New York. 32nd meeting between the schools. Binghamton the upper hand, 19 wins. That's Amani Watkins. She's wasting no time to build off her 33-point game this weekend.
And Amani Watkins just doing what Amani Watkins does, and she finds her shot early off of this top screen from ALYSSA James.
Watkins, the leading scorer in the conference, 21.8 points per game. At the moment, the best rate in a single season in the school's history. 2-0 Bearcat lead, and the Retrievers cough up the basketball on their first possession. The offense has been hard to come by for the Retrievers, averaging 53 points per game. It's the worst rate in the conference.
You know, and when you have battled injuries the way that they do, it can be tough to find some offensive consistency, and losing 2 seniors last year, you know, you're building your offense and your program again with some younger players.
Rebecca Carmody comes up empty with her first shot. But there have been signs of life for UMBC's offense. They've averaged 65 points per game in their last 3 games, and came up short in back-to-back affairs against New Hampshire and Albany. Castaldo. Tipped and recovered by Amani Watkins. Here comes Binghamton. Carly Boland left open. Carmody pounces on the rebound. She's had 15 of those in her last 2 games. Making up for a lack of offense, Carmody has failed to score in her last 2.
And Rebecca Carmody was somebody Coach Phil Stern talked very highly about when scouting the Bearcats, and she was a player he said you want to stop her from kind of getting going, and she's very good at that rip through from the elbow. So, you know, Amani Watkins is going to look to get hers, and she probably will get hers, but it's those other role players you have to look to diminish.
That's the focus for Phil Stern's Retrievers, who come off of a tight loss to Albany, 78-75 on Sunday. Castaldo, her second shot, gets the roll. The Retrievers grab a 1-point lead.
Binghamton switching between some man and zone, trying to force UMBC to really work throughout that defense.
Phil Stern said his team had played more man-to-man lately. Here they come out in zone, and Kai Moon will head to the free throw line. Stern in his 16th season coaching at UMBC. They had to suffer through a 13-game skid from mid-November all the way to the midpoint of January before knocking off UMass Lowell. A far cry from where this team was last season when they went 10-6 in conference play. And that stretch included a roll of 10 of 11 wins. Quite the roll for UMBC, but a different team this year. Kai Moon will head to the line for 2. She hits her first.
Free throws have been a focus for Binghamton the last few games, and close games that they've lost, they've gone to the line and missed free throws, so I'm sure that was a point of emphasis throughout the last couple of weeks for Coach Simino.
The last time these teams met up, February of last year, Binghamton did not take a single free throw attempt in a 4-point loss. This one out of bounds off the Retrievers, and it will be Binghamton ball. Or to be an 8-point BU loss to UMBC. Watkins to inbound after the Bearcats grab a 1-point lead. Watkins fresh off of her third career 30-plus point game. Burgess got a piece, and Burgess pounces. Brittany Burgess has surged lately, 14 points per game her last 3, shooting 52% from the floor. So for a team that's been starved for offense, she's provided. At the moment, Allison McGrath collects inside. Costa, too strong. Her own rebound produces a couple of free throws. The native of Rome, Italy, Lucrezia Costa, to the line for 2.
And that's a type of rebounding that helps a team like UMBC. And if you're struggling a little bit offensively, you get yourself to the line and extend possessions through the offensive rebounds.
Linda Semino chatting with one of our officials tonight, Keith Miller. As Costa knocks down her first free throw attempt. The Bearcats have gone 3-3. And at this very moment, it puts them in 5th in the standings. The Retrievers at 1-5 sit in 8th. Costa leaves a point out there. And Kai Moon will bring it into UMBC territory. That's Rebecca Carmody. Off to Kai Moon. The sophomore has built off a terrific freshman season. And other teams have taken notice. Watkins. 7 to shoot. Zone defense keeping the Bearcats out of range, but Watkins, who has all the range, can't hit. But they get the offensive rebound, their first of the night.
Yeah, you see Kai Moon. We talk about the great freshman season that she had and what she's been able to do so far this year. And she is a name that consistently comes up when talking to opposing coaches as somebody to watch for, and the consistency that she's been able to play at this year.
ALYSSA James lays it in for 2. Now last season, most of the opposing coaches didn't really mention Kai Moon, and now this season, just about everybody has mentioned there when they talk about matching up against the Bearcats. Moon picks up the steal. She's off to the races, and she's picked up 2. Moon averaging 2 steals or more in her last 11 games. She converts that to give Binghamton a 4-point lead, and she gets a hand on another. Bolden back for Moon. In transition, that's Carmody. She's on the board. Timeout, UMBC. 2 steals, 2 buckets, and the Bearcats lead by a half dozen. 5:40 left in the first half.
UMBC calls for a timeout. UMBC timeout for extended full meeting right now.
So how do you define a good life?
The America East Women's Basketball Championship in Portland. Coming back to Maine, especially Portland, being so close to family was an amazing feeling. The atmosphere was phenomenal. Maine has a great support system, especially towards basketball. Portland is a great area. I'm not far from it. There's such great scenery. I love visiting there.
Visit Portland for the 2018 America East Women's Basketball Tournament, March 3rd and 4th at the Cross Insurance Arena. Tickets are on sale now.
Hey, Portland, we'll see you in March.
Today at Simmons Rockwell, your pre-owned vehicle superstores, you'll find these previous rentals. 2017 all-wheel drive Nissan Rogue SV models with climate control, heated power seat, remote start, rear view monitor, 17-inch alloys, and 11,000 to 16,000 miles for just $19,099. See more savings online at simmons-rockwell.com and shop the Simmons Rockwell location near you.
It's time to get back to an active lifestyle, and UHS is making it easier than ever. The new UHS Orthopedic Center is the area's leader in orthopedic care. Our new state-of-the-art facility offers the best treatment for orthopedic, podiatry, chiropractic, rheumatology, physical therapy, and much more. Plus, a comprehensive sports medicine and concussion program like no other in our area. The new UHS Orthopedic Center, an experience like no other. Visit us today on the Vestal Parkway.
Retrievers and Bearcats, and Binghamton Chelsea out of the gates has a 6-point lead. 2 of them coming from ALYSSA James.
And being helped by 4 turnovers early from UMBC in the first few minutes.
2 of those generated from steals by Kai Moon. That's Lakaya Sims. Long range 2. Prompts a rebound from Jasmine Cena. And here come the Bearcats on a 6-0 run. Cena has seen her minutes stripped down, averaging just 18 per game her last 6 games. James gave in space, knocks it down. No one wanted to pick her up.
For ALYSSA James, you know, she does step out and take that mid-range jump shot, and for her it only helps to extend her game, forcing the defense to extend and play her out there.
That's Jania Summers. Out of bounds off Binghamton. Well, the Retrievers came in struggling shooting, 35% from the floor, worst rate in the conference. And it's been a tough start for them, now 1 for 5.
You know, when we talk about injuries that they've suffered throughout the season, and, you know, it is tough to get some sort of consistency, and they do have some younger players that they're trying to teach the offense that Phil Stern likes to run, so it has taken a little bit of time. But they are a team that is playing better as the season goes on.
When you're a team like the Retrievers, the wins haven't been there. The offense is slowly coming back. This is not the start they were hoping for.
You know, and it can be frustrating, but for a player, you have to buy into the process and what the program is developing and the program that you are a part of. So, and again, it's still, you're about the halfway mark of conference play, so there's still about 8 more games, 9 games to play. So, you know, it's still plenty of time to turn that around.
A chance from McGrath. Another miss from deep. Rebecca Carmody pushes into Retriever territory. Cena drives and draws the bump from Tyler Moore. Phil Stern chatted with us yesterday detailing the litany of injuries his team has experienced, which makes it really 2 straight years that injuries have been their big storyline. Last season, when the Bearcats met up with UMBC, it was right after non-conference play wrapped up. Retrievers had lost a lot of veterans to injuries, which opened the door for a lot of freshmen, and now they're dealing with the same spat of injuries again. Amani Watkins from the corner. Under duress, pressure from McGrath. Burgess gets a piece, and she's got the open route. Burgess converts.
And that's a situation you're Binghamton, you see Imani Watkins kind of trapped there. You have to go to the ball there, and you almost forced her to make that long pass across the court.
Burgess's bucket ends a 4-minute field goal drought for UMBC. And after all of that, they're within 6. That's Sims, the senior from Riverdale, Georgia. Burgess with a good angle. So Burgess has 4. And it's a 12-8 Bearcat lead. Moon given space, knocked down.
UMBC switching between man and zone on the make or miss, and there in the zone they're able to move the ball back to the top, and nobody at the top of the zone covered Kai Moon. She's able to have an open shot.
And she knocks that open shot down for 7 points. That is in total tonight. Another turnover. UMBC's 5th. Moon again. Sims with a good box out to haul in her first rebound. Sims, one of several coming off the injury list and now active for the Retrievers. Bill Stern saying they're working with about an 8-9 player rotation. Everybody in the building thought that was a walk. Sims hoists up the 3 and knocks it down. Just her 4th of the season. That makes it a 4-point game.
UMBC finding some offense. You know, Binghamton having a couple of empty possessions, and we've seen this before from Binghamton where they have a couple of stretches, you know, in the different quarters depending on the game, but here early on having a couple of empty possessions, it allows the opponent to come back and fill that gap.
James thought she had been fouled on the other end, and now the Retrievers. It's Castaldo redirected by Carmody. And recovered, nicely done by Tyler Moore. Up top to Brittany Burgess, really playing out of position as this team's point guard due to a transfer and an injury. They'll go inside. That's good for 2. Tyler Moore chips in.
And just good things happen when you produce offensive rebounds and able to extend possessions, and they went right inside to Moore, who had the mismatch.
UMBC on a 9-3 clip. Carmody the answer. That's not there. McGrath the rebounds. UMBC a chance to tie it or maybe even take the lead. Burgess, the redshirt senior out of White Plains, Maryland, was limited to 9 games last season due to a foot surgery. Now is playing in her 18th game of the year. Sims for McGrath, guarded by Carmody. 6 to shoot. Sims gets behind James. Moon pounces on the loose ball with Watkins. Watkins at 3. And Moon's on the long rebound. That's the Bearcats' 3rd offensive rebound. Although they've been out-rebounded overall 10-8 tonight. The Retrievers looking to keep up their interesting clip out-rebounding opponents, having done it in back-to-back games. Carmody threads to James. Cena, catch and release. Burgess can set up UMBC for the final shot of the quarter. Ten seconds. Burgess against James. From the corner, that's Moore, off the glass and good. The Retrievers cap the first quarter on a 12-3 run, and they own a 1-point lead.
Hey fans, this evening's Hampton Inn Suites man of the game is Chris Samsel. Chris will be invited back to the men's basketball finale on February 24th and have a chance to win a GoPro. The Hampton Inn Suites on the Vestal Parkway includes free hot breakfast and Wi-Fi, indoor heated pool with fitness rooms, suites with full kitchens, and you'll earn Hilton honors points. All right, fans, it's time now for the Price Chopper Dress Like the Bearcats contest. 2 lucky little Bearcats have been selected for a chance to win a Price Chopper gift card. First one to dress and make the basket will win our gift card. Tonight's little Bearcats are Logan. Give us a wave, Logan. Logan's going to dress in the green jersey, and Olivia will be dressing in the white jersey. Olivia, give us a wave. There's Olivia. All right, Logan and Olivia, on your mark. Get set, go! Keep an eye on the backstairs. Logan, keep down, get those shorts on. That's good enough, Olivia. Here we go. Slide into those sneakers. Give the basketball. Here comes Olivia. There's Logan. There's our basket. Logan is the winner of our prize now. Gift card. Fans, let's have a nice hand for Logan and Olivia. Good job.
The Retrievers capped the first quarter by hitting 5 of their last 8 shots, and 1 of them came from Brittany Burgess.
Yeah, she's been leading the way in that first quarter, and a couple of Binghamton turnovers led to some easy UMBC baskets the other end.
That's 42 points scored in their last 2 quarters of basketball for the Retrievers. They own a 1-point lead as we start the second. Coming to you from the Event Center. Turnover, UMBC. That's their 7th. It's been a problem for them in terms of the overall stats. Turnover margin in the negatives, about -3 per game. Out rebounded by nearly 7 boards per game, and those tend to add up over the course of 40 minutes. Kirshnavi checks in, finds Carly Bolin. James drives against Costa and draws the foul.
UMBC foul turns to number 24.
Costa's first. And Costa makes amends.
You see ALYSSA James almost, was unsure of going up and down to the ball there, so Sinas turns it over with the uncertainty there.
See how the game changes. Seemed as if with Sims on the floor, that's when the offense started to get going for UMBC. Sims has played about 10 minutes per game this season. She's on the bench at the moment. 7 to shoot for Burgess. She's fouled by Moon, and will head to the free throw line.
Bearcat foul charge to number 10, Jasmine Sina. That's her first.
Now Chelsea, for UMBC, the talk is the players they have gotten back and players that are healthy, but just as soon as they get players back, we get a look at Burgess's drive to the hoop. They also lose players. One of them, the freshman Kristen Techlitz, who is rolling in her last 3, but suffered an injury against Albany and is not in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, when you have, it's tough when you have some consistency and then a player gets injured who is in a normal rotation, and then you have to make adjustments. So, as a coach, it's tough to have to consistently make, those changes. But as a player, it's also tough to have to go through those changes as well and have some inconsistency to the lineup.
Bolin from straight away. That's good. Bearcats had been 1 of 7. They're 1 of 1 from deep here in the second.
And just some good ball movement there for Binghamton, and you can see with Imani Watkins off the floor, it's a little bit different for the UMBC defense because it shifts your focus.
8th UMBC turnover. Carly Kirshnavi scoops up a steal. Sina a fire and good. talked about that secondary scoring for the Bearcats, and Phil Stern said, look, we can't allow players like Cena to knock down 3 or more from deep. Cena has her first, and the Bearcats have another steal. Moon and the foul.
And you can see just how quickly the momentum can shift in these ball games. And Kai Moon, another steal, and like I usually say, she's fearless going to the basket. So she's able to get and convert for 2, a chance for 3, and the way they've been able to move the ball, like I said, Imani Watkins on the bench, so they are sharing the scoring a little bit more than they usually would. And Imani Watkins very good at finding her teammates, but when she's off the floor, you have to go to those secondary options.
Moon slowly becoming in the upper echelon in primary options for the Bearcats. She can't complete the 3-point play. Castaldo gets James to commit for 2.
A great ball fake there from Castaldo. Obviously, James known for her block, so she's able to get her up in the air and go back up.
A dozen points per game for Castaldo. Remember, the All-America East 13 last season. Moon draws 2. Kirshnavi sees daylight and draws the foul.
Carly Kirshnavi, and she's fun to watch defensively because she has that long body and she's able to get tips, but offensively she's continuing to develop that side of her game and to continue to improve, and she's been able to get more minutes due to her defensive longevity, and that kind of helps her get into more of a consistency offensively.
Yeah, talk about that defensive work from Kirshnavi. On Sunday against UMass Lowell, she picked up a career best 4 steals. Tough defensive effort for the Bearcats, who limited the Riverhawks to just 46 points and route to a 30-point win, getting them back to 500 in the conference. Kirshnavi misses both, but James comes down with the rebound. See what the Bearcats can do with it. They've had scores UMBC on this 8-2 clip. Poland draws Castaldo inside to James. Tough handle for Burgess. James banks it in.
Just a good move, and Burgess has some height, but Alyssa James is just bigger, you know, and she's stronger, and she's able to work on that footwork and able to get around.
Yeah, of all the things she's done offensively, the improvement in footwork seems like it's had the biggest impact for James.
Yeah, and that's all player development, and that's credit to the Binghamton coaching staff who has worked with her over the last few years. And you know, when she was a freshman at Caldwell, you know, she had the raw talent, I should say, you know, and over the last few years you can see how she's been able to develop, and all of the credit goes to the coaching staff that's continued to work with her.
I mean, it is in fact rare as well. You weren't in the wrong.
It is rare. It is rare, and what she's been able to do here in 2.5 seasons, and the work that she puts in as a player, you know, just is an example to everyone else on the Bearcats team.
Bit too much from the footwork this time from James. Just the 4th Bearcat turnover. Of course, the Bearcats relying heavily on 2 of their seniors, Imani Watkins and Alyssa James. Part of illustrious collegiate careers that the Bearcats are hoping can end in a lengthy postseason run. Burgess. Moon got another piece. And we get a jump ball. The arrow favors the Bearcats. Moon has been everywhere on defense.
And that's part of her game that she moved and developed from last year to this year. And she is just quick, and she moves her feet very well on defense. And a lot of young players transitioning from that high school level into college, that's always a tough transition, not using their hands as much on defense. But Moon does a really great job at it.
Carmody left open. Carly Harris lost it. How about the play by Alyssa James to keep that ball alive? She was the only one for Binghamton in the front court.
And that's just a hustle play. That's not having the foresight there for McGrath, and that's Alyssa James just knowing that she has an opportunity.
Now there's more from James. She has 8 tonight. Harris in for Summers, and Summers looks to shake off a recent funk. She has her first bucket.
Just good movement there from UMBC against the zone, looking to attack the middle of the zone, which is the best place to attack the zone, and Summers able to turn around and make the jumper.
Watkins stuck at 2 points. Supposed to be the table setter in this first half. Free throws coming up for ALYSSA James. 4:58 to play in the first half. Binghamton leads by 5.
Respect is hard work. Respect is dedication.
Respect is earned on the court or on the field. Respect doesn't judge based on sexual orientation or gender identity.
Respect is being the first conference to partner with the You Can Play project.
And the first conference in the LGBT Sports Safe Founders Club.
Respect coaches, players, and the game.
Respect similarities.
Respect differences.
Spread respect.
Spread respect.
Spread respect.
This is a place where bright minds meet, where innovative education and groundbreaking research thrive. A world-class institution with renowned faculty and endless opportunity. This is Binghamton University, the premier public university in the Northeast.
The America East Women's Basketball Championship in Portland. Coming back to Maine, especially Portland, being so close to family was an amazing feeling. The atmosphere was phenomenal. Maine has a great support system, especially towards basketball. Portland is a great area. I'm not far from it. There's such great scenery. I love visiting there.
Visit Portland for the 2018 America East Women's Basketball Tournament, March 3rd and 4th at the Cross Insurance Arena. Tickets are on sale now.
Hey, Portland, we'll see you in March.
There's a source of wonder inside us all. And it's why we're always looking for new ways to make things better. Because at BAE Systems, our work is inspired by the wonder inside that's always been with us, propelling us, guiding us, and leading us. A place where we're part of something bigger, where we can look inside, glimpse the future, and protect what's truly important.
Quite the game so far for Bearcat sophomore Kai Moon.
She's been able to turn steals into points. 4 steals on the night already, 9 points, and she's led the way for Binghamton.
Binghamton leads the way out of the second quarter start. They've answered UMBC's 14-3 run with the 12-2 advantage. It's given them a 5-point lead. Jania Summers' first foul puts ALYSSA James on the free throw line for 2. James, a 47% free throw shooter this season. An adventurous weekend. 3-block game against the Riverhawks gave her 237 in her career, which put her above her current assistant coach, I should say associate head coach, Leah Bowers, for the Bearcat all-time record. Summers off the mark with the 3, and Carmody scoops it up. And a great footnote, James doing that in just 3 seasons, all of them at the D1 level. So the record holder for Binghamton and also the record holder for the conference. Carmody can't connect with James.
Yeah, ALYSSA James got a little too deep underneath there with Sims over the top and not able to connect on the pass.
Sims back on the floor for UMBC. She's been limited this season, underwent foot surgery back in September. Phil Stern saying she's just getting her game legs back. How about Burgess, but a little bit too much contact on Watkins.
And a great block out there from Watkins.
Burgess trying to use her range and reach to get over Watkins, but instead picks up her second foul. And that's 5 this quarter for UMBC.
UMBC's over the limit. At the line for the Bearcats, number 11, Imani Watkins.
This is rare territory for the Retrievers. It is not often that they find themselves in the penalty. Retrievers have averaged just 13.5 fouls per game. Second lowest rate in the conference. It's the 10th lowest in the entire country. Watkins goes 1 of 2. And Lakia Sims pulls down the rebound.
And what Binghamton has been able to do tonight, which is forcing more contact, is getting to the basket. 12 points in the paint so far tonight, and been able to really work against that zone of UMBC and force UMBC to make contact.
Another turnover and another foul. Brittany Burgess will pick up her 3rd. A rough break for the Retrievers.
UMBC foul charge number 31, Brittany Burgess. That's her 3rd personal.
So for one of the players that has shined recently, now in foul trouble with a lot of time left in the first half. And more free throws coming up for Kai Moon.
Kai Moon, what makes her so fun to watch is the way that she focuses in on the ball and the player defensively. You know, you always teach players as they are progressing and developing defensively, you know, you don't want to watch the ball, you want to watch the player's midsection, because that's the part of them that doesn't move, right? You can't fake your core, but Kai Moon just focuses in so heavily on the offensive player that you can almost see like lasers, you know, like she's focused in, and that's what is able to help her get some of those steals.
She's locked in tonight. She has 11, but a rebuttal provided from the corner by Jania Summers. Just the 3rd bucket this quarter for the Retrievers, who have been outscored 17-9 in the second. James again left open, and again hits from the free throw line. Burgess with 3 fouls. Phil Stern will let it ride. Sims off the mark. Rebound Moon. Already 3 rebounds for Moon. Knocked down. 14 for the sophomore.
Kai Moon is having a great first half, and credit to her teammates who have been able to find her, and she's been able to make some great plays defensively.
Well, the roll continues for Moon. She's in the top 10 in conference scoring in conference games, averaging about 12 points per game. What a feed from Sims, and Summers with the finish.
A great look and a great cut through the zone.
Summers with 7. Retrievers, though, down by 10. They'll go to the hot hand. Around to Bolin. A 3. And Sims fights for the board. Two and a half left, first half. Binghamton 37, UMBC 27. The Retrievers trying to overcome a dozen turnovers. It's Summers again. This one way off. Imani Watkins corrals her 2nd rebound. Looks for a quick strike. Can't get it, but James is there. And she travels.
Just a tough break, in and out, and Imani Watkins was looking to get to the rim there. And, you know, we always talk about how Imani Watkins can score. Limited points tonight in the first half, but as we've seen, that doesn't really mean too much to her.
Bearcats will be happy with the production from the secondary scoring. 12 from James, 14 from Moon. That's Tasia Oliver. And Sims with another great feed, this time Castaldo on the receiving end.
UMBC doing a great job of getting the ball to the middle. Sims, a great passer, and looking to get into that block. And the Binghamton bottom rotation of the zone just hasn't been quick enough to get there.
This will be an offensive foul against Binghamton, for part of the travel against the Bearcats. And you can see the attention that Sims draws when she gets that ball on the high post.
Yeah, you're forcing the middle person and the 2-3 to come up and guard you. And the bottom the forwards in the 2-3 have to kind of duck in to the blocks, and they're not doing that fast enough.
See how much UMBC can go to the well with this. Again, Sims waits in the high post. Oliver. Open look, Castaldo. Amani Watkins, her third rebound. Cena has one from deep today. And Carmody thought Boland was going to cut, but Boland never did.
UMBC a good chance here to cut the lead a little bit more going into halftime.
Well, the Retrievers saved their best for the end of the first quarter, wrapping that one up with a 12-3 run. Here they've got back-to-back buckets. Sims gets the feed this time and draws the foul.
You see just another example of getting the ball to the middle and then to the block, and they've been able to do that the last 3 or 4 possessions and produce on it.
Summers hasn't picked up many assists this season, just 15 in her first 19 games. But she picks up one here. Sims can't finish though. 6-point game. Watkins for Kirshnavi. Watkins dying for a chance. Batted out of bounds by McGrath. And this will stay with the Bearcats.
And a chance to hold for one.
Bearcats substitutions, number 3, Kai Moon, and number 5, ALYSSA James in the game.
Lucrezia Costa was set to enter, then was waved back by Phil Stern. Watkins, a fastball to Boland. So a quick shot from Binghamton. And now UMBC can save for the final shot. Tasia Oliver, a sophomore from Clinton, Maryland. 6 seconds to shoot. Oliver hoists it up. Moon on the rebound. That's how the first half comes to an end. After 20 minutes, the Bearcats lead the Retrievers 37-31.
I don't think you can overstate how big of an advantage it is to be playing a championship game in front of your home crowd.
Standing room only, and just at the end, like having everybody rush the court is like a surreal feeling.
Obviously that shot, has been a big part of this program's history, and they did a lot of winning here, and that's why I came here. We had that opportunity, just got to take it.
Just to go out as a winner.
Cut down the nets at home. Win at home, win it all.
Our house rules.
Our house rules.
Our house rules.
It's my understanding
that's right.
that now we raise over $35,000 a year from the women's luncheon.
The
The Celebrating Women's Athletics Luncheon is a great event here at Binghamton University, and it's something that I think is unique all over the country.
In the past, it was an effort to bring more people to the university who perhaps might never have come for another reason. It also introduces young girls to what we are doing here in our athletic program.
The monies that are raised in this luncheon go to the scholarship for women athletes. And that was what one of our main goals was, to get a figure up there so that we could start giving out scholarships.
We're expecting over 620 people this year at our luncheon.
And that frankly blows my mind, because it's been so, not easy, but it feels natural. We sat around this board and they were talking about men's scholarships, men's scholarships, men's scholarships, and we're thinking, now the scholarship program has to be funding some women's sports. We lined up the women that were members of the BUAC board and said, you know, yeah, we could do this. And so we started with meetings, much like we continued the meetings all these years, and we're still meeting every year to put the thing together again.
Here to tell her story, the General of Amy's Army, Amy Van Dyken.
By the way, ladies, that's the only time I will allow a man to push me around.
Amy Van Dyken, Amanda Beard, Rebecca Lobo, Jenny Finch, softball Olympian, all of great stories about what you can do with passion and perseverance.
Each and every one, with practically no exceptions, has been outstanding.
They've just brought a spark to us, and you know, I think everybody has just been so excited for.
So you can
athletics.
see what happens when women make up their mind.
The Bearcats put 2 in double figures in the first half, and they own a 6-point halftime lead. We welcome you back courtside here from the Event Center. I'm Tim Hyman. I'm joined by the one and only Chelsea Lascalzo. Chelsea, Amani Watkins had only 3 points in the first half, but she was bailed out by her teammates, ALYSSA James and Kai Moon. Both got into double digits.
Yeah, Kai Moon doing it on both ends of the floor. 5 steals, 4 rebounds, and 14 points in that first half. And we saw her really go coast to coast off a couple of rebounds and some steals, but her momentum is what has lifted this Binghamton team in the first half, and ALYSSA James contributing with 12 points.
Yeah, but you don't want to count out the Retrievers. They came in with the worst field goal percentage as a team in the conference, and all they did in the first 20 minutes was nearly shoot 50% from the floor.
Yeah, they've been able to really get into the paint and really work in the high-low, getting the ball to the middle against the Binghamton zone and being able to dump past there to the block and score pretty easily. So they've been able to really cut the gap. Binghamton was coming away with it a little bit, 10-11 point lead, and cutting the gap to 6 to go to half.
We take a look at the highlights from this first half, a half that the Bearcats lead by 6, and the Retrievers, though, had a couple of nice runs in them in that first half.
Yeah, Castaldo, one of our players to watch at the beginning of the game, and she was able to kind of shift the offense a little bit for UMBC, and you can see Burgess getting to the rim. She had a phenomenal first half as well. And ALYSSA James working down low, and a couple of easy baskets she was able to put in, and you know, both teams kind of going back and forth and making their runs.
Yeah, it was really a first half of runs. UMBC at one point had a 14-3 clip. The Bearcats on the other end put a 12-2 run together, and now it's a matter of how much of that continues into the second.
Yeah, you know, for UMBC, really looking to continue to get inside, really going to the middle was what made them successful, and for Binghamton, continue to go inside and move the ball and find your open shooters and find that hot hand.
I think one of the big topics, though, when you look at that second half, Chelsea, Brittany Burgess, who this team has relied on so much, has 3 fouls.
Yeah, we'll see how Phil Stern wants to limit those minutes, if at all, and if she's going to start that the second half. So we'll see what kind of impact she's able to make.
Bearcats have a 37-31 lead at the break. Binghamton sophomore Kai Moon poured in 14 points in the first half, one of 2 in double digits for the Bearcats. And Binghamton has a 6-point lead at the break. We'll take a look at the first half stats, and they're brought to you by Foz Construction Group. Foz Construction Group provides a wide range of construction services for projects of varying scope, budget, schedule, and complexity.
You can see Binghamton out rebounding the Retrievers 20-15. Another big stat, 12 turnovers for UMBC in that first half and 8 for Binghamton. So both teams looking to limit those turnovers in the second half, and obviously 12 of those UMBC turnovers were 5 steals from Kai Moon.
And for Binghamton's three-point shooting, they were 1 of 7 in the first, but came back with a 3 of 6 clip in the second.
Yeah, and I think it's just credit to moving the ball and finding the right shots, and instead of, looking to force a shot just because it's there, but looking to move the ball and continue to find the open look.
So the Bearcats have a 6-point lead. They're hunting for their 6th home win. They're looking to get above 500 for the first time since the early part of the conference season. Binghamton 37, UMBC 31 on ESPN 3. The conference's leading scorer, Amani Watkins, had just 3 points in the first, but that did not stop the Bearcats from pouring in 37. They lead by 6 as we're set for the start of the second. Take a look at what's gone on around the America East this evening, and really this morning, actually. It was an education day in Albany, and the Great Danes put together another strong effort for their 7th consecutive win.
Yeah, Albany, a top team in the America East the last few years, has been dominant. So Vermont struggled a little bit at Albany, and obviously being on the road is tough, but Albany picking up their 7th conference win of the season.
Riverhawks on Long Island in search of their first win of the season, while Maine ventures to New Hampshire to take on the current 2nd place Wildcats. Where the Bearcats will be heading next. Their next game unfolds in Durham to take on the Wildcats, a team that beat them by a whisker on this floor early this month.
Yeah, great game, a great matchup. Binghamton leading and New Hampshire making the run late in the game to pull out the 2-point victory.
So UAlbany on top, 7-1. New Hampshire at 5-1, and then a big old jumble from 3 spot to the 6th spot. 4 teams with either 3 or 4 wins. A lot to be sorted out over the final 5 weeks of the regular season. Tim Hyman, Chelsea Lascalzo, America East women's basketball on ESPN 3. The Retrievers trail by 6. Now that's Burgess. James against Summers, rebound Retrievers. McGrath from deep. And they're over the back call against Costa. Or is it? Well, this is going to go against the Bearcats. Amani Watkins was in the fray, apparently. It's the 2nd foul for Watkins. Burgess has 3 fouls of her own. She remains in the game, though. Moon shifts to cover. Burgess, high post, and Costa gets denied by James. Burgess grabs. McGrath, another three. Another one short. Moon stays alive. Moon feeds Carmody, but Burgess swoops back. And this will stay with the Bearcats. So a couple of looks for the Retrievers on their first possession, but nothing to show for.
And just a big block there by ALYSSA James to continue the defensive campaign that she's made all season long.
Make it 238 career blocks for James. First one for the Bearcats tonight. In fact, first one for either side. Carmody, given tons of space, knocks it down. Barely disturbed the net.
I was just gonna say, I don't think it hit the net.
Carmody with her 4th of the season on her 18th attempt from deep. She's waited a long time to hit one from behind the arc. Burgess, kept alive by Summers. Moon got a piece of McGrath and also got a piece of the ball. Binghamton now 4 of their last 7 from deep after a tough start. They were 1 of 7 in the first quarter. They've got a 9-point lead. Costa over James. Rebound Carmody. Carmody's 6th rebound tonight. She's been a machine in that department with 7 or more her last 5 games. Moon will drive around Burgess. Too much. Rebound Costa. See what the Retrievers offense can do. 31 points in the first half. For a team that had been averaging just 25 points in the first half this season. Another miss. Costa the follow. She can't hit. A tussle on the baseline. It will be Binghamton ball.
Costa doing a great job underneath the basket. A couple of offensive rebounds so far in the second half, and she's a force to be reckoned with underneath as Sims comes in to replace her.
And that's already 5 offensive rebounds for UMBC in this quarter alone.
If you're UMBC, you're hopeful that you can continue to control those offensive boards and extend possessions and convert on those possessions as well.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. Convert, execute. The Retrievers haven't done that this quarter yet. Moon given the baseline. It's James's turn. And she gets the roll. James with 14.
And 6 of those points have happened right from that right elbow. Given space, she's knocking down the 15-footer.
Turnover. It's Boland this time. And Boland gets it to go.
Carly Boland using those long arms of hers to interfere with a UMBC pass.
Binghamton opens the second half with a 7-0 run. They lead by 13. It has been a fine night for Binghamton's ALYSSA James.
Yeah, she's able to get a little pick and pop here action. Kai Moon finds her, and she knocks down her third shot from the elbow.
James now 6 of 9 from the floor. Tied with Kai Moon for the team lead with 14. And it is a 13-point Bearcat edge.
They came out of the timeout with a little bit of defensive pressure in a 1-2-2 type of setup.
Castaldo hits and draws the foul. Just what the Retrievers needed. Third foul for Watkins, Castaldo's second three-pointer.
It looks like she didn't give her a chance to land, and that's where the foul came.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with your TV screen. Castaldo is the only UMBC Retriever in that shot because the Retrievers on free throw attempts have everybody abandon the lane. That is, free throws they're taking. A Phil Stern calling card. Watkins, 1 of 7 from the floor, denied by Sims. Make it 1 of 8. Retrievers within 10. Castaldo, their leading scorer, given the lane by Watkins, gets James to commit. Burgess skies for another rebound. That's her 5th. Castaldo gets another. She makes it a 7-point game.
And that's just making the extra pass, finding the open shooter in the corner, and Castaldo knocks it down again.
13th for Castaldo, the 11th time she's been in double figures. Watkins pressured by McGrath. Bolin, but Binghamton looking to answer. James powers home, but she's denied by Sims. Bolin fires and hits.
And a good answer from Bolin and ALYSSA James. The hustle play, continuing the possession and finding the open Bolin.
Carly Bolin hoping to build off a 10-point effort on Sunday. She corrals the rebound after the UMBC miss. And it's Moon's turn. And she hits and draws the foul.
Just a quick move to the basket, and she goes up, creates the contact, and is able to finish with a high shot off the glass.
What a finish indeed by Moon.
And that is repetition at practice, and obviously some athleticism, but eyes on the prize the whole time. And when you are looking to finish around the rim, you have to be focused on the glass there, and that's what Kai Moon did. Never took her eyes off the target.
Quite the mismatch. Sims 6'1", Moon 5'6". But Moon comes away with 3 points. The lead back to 13. Castaldo can't hit that time. But Brittany Burgess corrals another board. That's Summers out of Downbrook, New Jersey. One of 4 freshmen on this Retrievers roster. The freshman getting a healthy chunk of minutes. McGrath can't hit. James the rebounds. Moon slings to Cena. Moon just picked up her first 3 points of this second half. Her field goal percentage 10 points better than what it was last season. Carmody waits. Pops to Bolin. James, an uncontested rebound.
And a great job using that wingspan to corral the rebound and go back up.
8-0 Bearcat run. Bolin on the board following Sims's miss. Transition. Cena's off the mark. Carmody could not keep it alive. 4:01 left in the third. The Bearcats have their largest lead. It's 15. She is the two-time America East Defensive Player of the Year, but tonight it's been her offense that shined. She's
Off of second chances, been able to finish tonight, a couple of open shots, and she's at 16 so far.
This is after collecting just 4 points on Sunday against the Riverhawks. Her Bearcats lead by 15. It's been a rocky third quarter. UMBC is just 2 of 14 from the floor. McGrath, Castaldo, it's Sims, and the difficulties continue. Castaldo will look to reset. Called the toughest player on the floor by her head coach Phil Stern. Another miss from the Retrievers.
And able to find more of the gaps in the zone as they were doing in the second quarter, but just not able to finish.
McGrath got a piece of that one from Watkins. The frustration maybe getting to Monty Watkins, who's in the midst of a forgettable night on the floor. Carmody with the foul, her first. But on an off night for Watkins, James and Moon have shined. And the Bearcat defense has flustered the Retrievers here in the third quarter. Castaldo with the 15th miss of the quarter from the Retrievers. 15-point game. James, a lane, and it will stay with the Bearcats.
And it looks like UMBC is having those same opportunities by getting the ball to the middle against the zone, but the Binghamton defense is covering, but only for a second. So if Sims or whoever's in the middle of the paint gives it one more second, they can have that look underneath that they were getting in the first half.
Patience.
Yes. It's a virtue.
Moon hit a similar shot earlier. Picks up a couple of free throw chances here. That's the fourth foul for Brittany Burgess. Now for Burgess, Phil Stern says of all his players, he has been most proud of her for what she's done this season. They had one player who was supposed to be their main point guard, Melody Van Ness, transfer in November. Their other guard, who they thought was going to play a heavy hand in their point guard role, Alicia Braxton, is out for the year with an ACL injury, so it's been up to Burgess to serve as this team's point guard.
Yeah, when you're in a position that you may not be expecting to play or you don't normally play, it is a little bit of a transition and having to not only understand that role, but how that role affects your teammates as well.
Moon went 1 of 2. James put pressure on the rebound. And the Bearcats catch a nice break. Officials making sure the shot clock is correct. James hoping to make that a moot point. She hits again.
ALYSSA James clearly feeling the hot hand tonight, and you could see her enthusiasm and her happiness with being able to score a little bit tonight.
18 for James, thanks to an 8 for 12 clip. Oliver. James kept it alive.
And doing a great job of controlling the boards underneath and holding UMBC to one shot.
The Retrievers have been held to just 2 buckets this quarter, getting outscored 18-6. James again goes to work in the lane. Watkins could not track it down. Nice job by the Retrievers D that time.
A good stop there, and after UMBC, there's no 18-point shot, So you want to come down, you have to get stops and then score. You have to build possession by possession.
They are trying to find the offensive success they had against UAlbany when they poured in 75 points, a season best, but in a losing effort. Summers, tough angle, but it doesn't stop her from collecting 2.
Using a little bit of her size and some nifty footwork and able to pour that in over Watkins.
Carmody with Summers waiting at the free throw line. Watkins. And James fouled on the rebound attempt. Watkins still stuck on 3. In danger of having her first game being held to fewer than 10 points this entire season.
And she's a kid who, she wants to win. You know, she wants to get to the playoffs. She wants to have success in the playoffs, and the personal accolades, you know, won't mean much. She'll be able to brush this off and move on, you know, but there is a whole other quarter of play, and we've seen her get going late, so I'm not counting her out just yet.
And she'll have a chance to add to her total. For the Bearcats overall, they were averaging about 67 points per game coming into this one. Second best rate in the conference. With Amani Watkins leading the charge. Not just the top scorer in the conference, 11th best in the entire country. What's so noteworthy about this Bearcat team, the number of individuals that have put themselves on the national radar, whether it's Watkins and her scoring, or James and her ability to pick up the blocks.
And it's great for Binghamton, the program itself, bringing, you know, these accolades from individual players, but, you know, just the success that these players have brought and bringing the spotlight a little bit to Binghamton basketball.
18-point Bearcat lead. Castaldo pestered by Moon. Oliver bangs in against Carmody. Another rebound for ALYSSA James, and it's another double-double for James. 18 points, 10 rebounds. Fifth double-double this season. Moon draws the foul. Chelsea, this is one of those interesting games. And it's not to say that Moon and James have been unfamiliar with leading the charge offensively, but on a night when your star, from the Bearcats' perspective, Watkins, is off a bit, others have stepped up.
And that's what's important about moving the ball in that offensive movement and looking for the hot hand and being able to share the ball. And you can see it is, you know, a credit to Linda Simoneau, who has brought the players in over the last 4 years and extending the depth of their bench, because, you know, maybe 2 years ago it wouldn't have been a successful night if Imani Watkins was having an off game. But now, as they've been able to build this program up and bring the right role players in, and some newfound stars in Kai Moon. So, you know, for them, it's about being able to support each other as a team.
Retrievers down by 20. Looking at what could be their 16th loss in the last 17 games. Bounces not going their way. Castaldo can't hit. Oliver will give it a try. And James falls in her 11th rebound. That type of quarter for UMBC, and that type of quarter for ALYSSA James. Chance at the final shot. 7. Oliver picks up the steal. Oliver with the right hand, and she's hammered by Carmody. So it goes from the Bearcats getting a chance to now UMBC with an opportunity. Carmody with her second. Oliver, a 76% free throw shooter this season. Unlike others, scuffling a bit lately. Phil Stern saying she's just not getting the same looks that she got last season when she had players like Taylor McCarley or Pandora Wilson to help draw attention away from her.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you have big stars like that, and you're able to, you know, sneak away a little bit from the defense's mind. So what she was able to do last year is a little bit different as you're graduating some of those bigger players.
Final chance of the third. Moon's prayer is hot, and the Bearcats will take a 19-point lead into the fourth quarter. Tonight the stage has belonged to two Bearcats. ALYSSA James and Kai Moon have led the way.
Picking up the pace as Imani Watkins, a little bit short on the offensive end, but both of these players stepping up. ALYSSA James finding her shot, offensive rebounds, leading to some putbacks, and Kai Moon just doing it on both sides of the floor.
Yeah, not included. Her 6 steals tonight. 19-point Binghamton lead. Chukwuma Chiamaka checks in for the Retrievers. She battles with James in the paint. Product of Lagos in Nigeria. From the baseline, her first shot is off the mark. Binghamton's defense held UMBC to a 3 for 22 clip in the third quarter, and in the process outscored them 22-9. Watkins, a long 3 attempt. Now that's perfect. Watkins has a half dozen.
And Imani Watkins is a scorer, so she has that mentality. No matter how many points she has or doesn't have, she's going to continue to look for her shot.
Get a blocking foul against the Bearcats. ALYSSA James collects it. For Watkins, it's a noteworthy 3-pointer, as it now puts her in second place, at least a tie for second place all time, with 216 threes in her Bearcat career. Currently toe-to-toe with Bess Greenberg. Knocked down that many from 1997 through 2001. Summers to the free throw line after the foul on James. Watkins also chasing Bess Greenberg for the all-time scoring record in Bearcat history. Watkins nears 1,900 points. Bess Greenberg sits with 2,024 in her illustrious career. Summers goes 1 of 2. And there's Moon. Watkins again, and she will get 3 out of this. Oliver, the foul.
Yeah, Kai Moon had the lane to the basket. She just bobbled it a little bit, but she's able to get it out and recover, and Watkins able to draw the foul on the long 3.
With Watkins, you start doing the math on what she needs to get to a certain level. And as the season progressed, it went from, well, maybe she'll hit 1,900 to, okay, 2,000's in the realm. And now the all-time scoring record is certainly well within her reach, with nearly half the conference season to play in whatever the Bearcats can get in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's something that she has discussed in different press conferences, and you know that is her goal. She wants to leave here the leading scorer in Binghamton history.
.142 points shy of doing that coming into today's game. Goes 2 of 3 on this trip. And the Bearcats have a comfortable 23-point lead. They're gunning for their 4th conference win of the season. Retrievers had lost to Hartford, lost to Albany before arriving in Binghamton. From the corner, that's Oliver. Chukwuma can't pull it down. And here comes Watkins. Cross court to Lizzie Spindler. Turnover. Oliver with the steal.
Lizzie Spindler getting some minutes the last couple of games and had a great 12-point showing in the UMass Lowell game. 12 points in 12 minutes, and she's just a tough kid, and you know she's going to continue to work for those minutes and earn those minutes as just a freshman. But you know she provides some speed, and she's getting used to the college pace of play.
An efficient game, and done efficiently with 4 3-pointers on 4 attempts. Watkins to go into double figures, and she does just that. 20th time this season. And with that another 3-pointer, that gives her sole possession of second all-time in threes. Tie up. Jump ball favors Binghamton. Right now for the Bearcats, though, if you look at this big picture, Chelsea, as Watkins has put together another marvelous season, and James's defensive and offensive game is there. Now it's a matter of will this team click at the right time? It's because they're hoping for a deep playoff run, which has been a little elusive for them the last decade.
Yeah, and if you're Binghamton, you know, that's the ultimate goal, but it happens, you know, one game at a time. So they're looking to, you know, they have to win those conference games, those tough, close conference games, you know, to be able to make that playoff run. They have to, you know, when New Hampshire is here at home and they have that lead, you know, you need to finish that game. When you're playing at Albany, you need to, you know, be able to try to pick up some road wins as well. So when they're at New Hampshire this weekend, they're going to look to pick up a big road win there. So it's all, you know, the goal is the end of season playoff run, conference tournament, but you know, for them and any team in the conference, it all happens one game at a time.
Meanwhile, Amani Watkins has dropped 11 in the second half, 14 in total. The Bearcats have a commanding 28-point lead, and James makes it 30. James into the 20s with 20 on the nose. Here's Moore. Amani Watkins corrals another rebound. That's her 6th. The accolades go on and on for Watkins. She'll hoist up another 3. Carmody dives into the corner to get it. And another chance for Binghamton, up 71-41, and they'll slow it down offensively. Lizzie Spindler, the freshman from Taylor, Pennsylvania, finds a fellow Pennsylvanian. Carmody for James, 2 more.
Just good ball movement, finding the open player underneath, and ALYSSA James doing what she's been doing all game, finishing.
She could finish with a new season high. Only 1 point shy of that. Moon got a piece, but could not keep it alive. Wipe the night for Kai Moon. 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 steals. And that night might be coming to an end as she heads for the Bearcat bench.
Yeah, just a great all-around game on both ends of the floor. 7 steals, turning into just a career night on the offensive end.
The Retrievers are looking to get to 50 points for the 7th straight time. Their offense sputtered out of the gate. Injuries, inexperience. They've been held to fewer than 60 points 15 times. Held to fewer than 50 points 7 times. But they've avoided the 40s and 30s for the last 6 games. Only 9 to avoid a similar fate tonight, though. Watkins could not hit the reverse. Chiamaka corrals the rebound. Harris for Oliver. Chiamaka around James. Binghamton ball. 32-point Bearcat lead as they hunt for their 4th conference win of the season. That's a look at the road ahead for the Bearcats, and that road will lead them to Durham as they look to avenge a loss to the Wildcats earlier this season. 1 p.m. tip for the Bearcats. Here a 32-point lead for Binghamton. Thanks to ALYSSA James's efforts, along with Kai Moon, and Amani Watkins adds 2 more in her strong second half.
Yeah, Amani Watkins, you never really count her out, until that final buzzer kind of sounds, so. But just a good offensive night for Binghamton. They've been able to really move the ball, find the right shooters at the right times.
Now 1,899 career points for Watkins. Chelsea, given the personnel the Retrievers are working with at this point of the season, getting some players back from injury, but still dealing with some other players out, and the collection out for the season, what needs to break for them to have success in the second half of conference play?
I think it's just finding a rhythm, as a team, and no matter who's on the floor, it's finding that offensive rhythm, and that's where the practice comes in, and it's finding that rhythm no matter who's on the floor and understanding what your role is.
Watkins now into the 1900s, just the second player in Binghamton history to do that. 1,901 points for Amani Watkins. Jasmine Cena breaks up that pass. And here comes Lizzie Spindler. Wasco travels. Well, looks like a trend will continue. The home team has won the last 6 matchups between Binghamton and UMBC. ALYSSA James pulled from the game, and what a game it was. 22 points, 11 rebounds. Her 5th double-double of the season.
Yeah, and for ALYSSA James, we've seen games where she struggles around the rim and from the free throw line, so tonight was a night where she was able to put it all together.
10 of 14. Kennedy Thompson checks in for Binghamton. Jen Gast also gets on the floor. Brittany Burgess fires. Rebounded by Oliver. Inside Burgess. Corinne Gottschall in the fray. Chiamaka gets it to go. First points tonight for Chiamaka, who has battled injuries throughout her career. And now we'll see what the Bearcats can contribute in the final 2.5 minutes. Watkins on an off night is on the doorstep of 20. And this will be UMBC ball. And that'll be it for Watkins. So Watkins done, 19 points, 16 of them coming in the second half, with most of those coming when this game was already salted away.
For Amani Watkins, she has her average, you want to get there, and it was just a good offensive night for Kai Moon, ALYSSA James, and Amani Watkins in that third quarter was able to turn around. She hit a couple of free throws, and from that point, she was able to find her shot by getting to the free throw line.
Tasia Oliver hit from deep. Rebound coming from Jen Gast, the first Catonsville High School product to suit up for the Retrievers. Oliver again, hey, 2 of 2. Oliver with a half dozen the last 30 seconds. As we close in on the final 100 seconds of this one. These teams will meet again. It'll unfold in Catonsville. February 8th, 7 p.m. tilt. And the Retrievers are eager and hoping that maybe by that time they'll be in their new event center. Gorgeous new facility on the campus of UMBC. That'll be the home to both basketball teams, among many other activities. But the Retrievers still playing in the old RAC Arena. Spindler's first trip to the free throw line as a Bearcat is a successful one. 2 of 2. And now the Bearcats knocking on the door of 80. And Wasco playing tough down to the final minute. Cannot draw the offensive foul. This is the Bearcats Most prodigious of offensive effort in conference play this season. As Gast is off the mark and Kirshdavi holds in the rebound. The moment could be their best effort against a D1 opponent. Previous high was 80, done against Dartmouth. Their overall season high is 90, done against D3 Cortland. Rebound Burgess. Final minute. Oliver, hot hands here in the fourth quarter. Gast will fire and hit. Jen Gast picks up her first points of the night. Binghamton will improve to 4-3 in conference play. The Retrievers will fall to 1-6. Thompson hits her second bucket of the season. Give the Bearcats a season best against a D1 opponent. So Thompson hits, much to the delight of her bench. And Binghamton now on the cusp of putting up back-to-back 30-point wins. There's the career totals for Amani Watkins. Katie Terhune is looking over her shoulders.
You know, and Amani Watkins, what she's been able to do across her career has just been phenomenal. And, you know, if you ask her, she's not done yet, right? So she's going to continue to work her way up the record books as the season continues.
Oliver kept alive by Chiamaka. Final chance for the Retrievers, who do get into the 50s. 7 straight game, they've done that. Burgess, who's spent most of the second half playing in foul trouble, can't hit. And Lizzie Spindler will dribble out the clock. A double-double from ALYSSA James, a career night from Kai Moon. And the Bearcats put it together for a 30-point win, their second in a row.
Yeah, and it was all about Kai Moon and ALYSSA James today. Meaning Kai Moon, 7 steals, finishes with 20 points, and from A to Z, offense to defense, she just took over this game. And ALYSSA James, you can't discount what she was able to do offensively, finishing with 22 points.
I think a big turning point in this game that truly shifted it in Binghamton's favor was the defensive work in the second half. They held UMBC to just 7 buckets in that second half. What changed?
You know, I think the defensive intensity was a little bit different. There were a couple of more pressure moments, pushing up the defense, and Kai Moon, I mean, 7 steals. She was able to really force the agenda and get the ball moving the other way on the defensive end. Yeah, the defensive work definitely set up the Bearcats' offensive effort. Again, a season best for the Bearcats against a D1 opponent in 81 points tonight. They make it back-to-back wins in conference play and climb above 500 at 4-3. We will be joined by the head coach of the Bearcats, Linda Simino, when we come back. Binghamton picks up the win at home.
This is a place where living and learning go hand in hand, where more than 7,000 students reside in 6 residential communities, offering student centers for dining and recreation. This is Binghamton University, a home away from home and the premier public university in the Northeast.
Post-game here at the Event Center, the Bearcats pick up an 81-51 win over the UMBC Retrievers. We're joined by winning coach Linda Simino. Linda, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, take me through this game. The first half, we saw Amani Watkins have maybe an off half, but she was bailed out by stellar efforts from ALYSSA James and Kai Moon.
Yeah, I mean, ALYSSA James played unbelievable, one of her best games, all-around games all season. And then Kai, I mean, Kai is just such a great player, and she led us, and she was knocking down threes. She had like 5 steals at halftime. And, you know, it was amazing to see that, you know, Monty only had 3 points, and yet we still were in double-digit lead. And I thought that was really important. That just shows you how far we've come as a program and that other players can step up when we need them to.
You know, at what point in tonight's game did you realize that James had that touch, and that offensive touch that sometimes has been missing?
Well, and at halftime when I saw the stat sheet, I saw that she had 12 points, and I I knew our game plan was to go inside out and to get her the ball inside and then hope that they would, double her and then we could get some kickouts for some open looks. So I was really happy with that. I thought that, we found her and we gave her the ball. I honestly had no idea how many points we were up by. I looked up at the scoreboard and, my math isn't too good and I didn't realize that we were up by 30 points. And it's a great win because when you see that, you see the box score and you see how we shared the ball and how well we played. And, I think we only had 2 or 3 turnovers in the second half, which has been our problem for the last couple of games. So I'm really proud of our kids.
Okay, take me through the defensive performance for your Bearcats. There were times when it seemed as if UMBC was finding holes, but they couldn't really find much of anything in terms of holes in your defense in the second half.
Yeah, we stayed zone the whole second half, and we were switching back and forth in the first half between P2P and zone, and in the second half we played zone, and I thought we did a great job. Coach Bowers came out, and at halftime she drew up, the play that they were killing us on, and we were able to make an adjustment, and, Coach B really did a great job with that adjustment, and I thought that our kids handled themselves well with it.
Yeah, in terms of basketball IQ, with the team being able to make adjustments like that in-game speaks volumes, must be, of their team's ability to make those changes.
Yeah, and the fact that, Coach Bowers was able to draw it up and our kids were able to pick it up really quickly. And we made one simple adjustment and we brought our wing from the opposite side over to the ball side.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
Linda Simon after her team picks up the 81-51 win of the Retrievers. That'll do it for us this evening from the Event Center. You can catch us again this weekend when the men are in action as they take on New Hampshire. That's on the 27th. Next time you can catch the women will be on the 3rd. That's Saturday at 1 when they host Maine. For Chelsea Lascalzo and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Tim Hyman saying so long from the Event Center here in Vestal, New York, where tonight the Bearcats defeated the Retrievers 81-51. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Oh.
What are you doing, KJ? Nice shot. Saw the opening, I'm thinking about a little clock with 2:40 left, but nobody guarded him. He said he's not shot the ball well tonight, but shot it well there. And Tarek Nafsi quickly takes time out again because he can see the game slipping away with, as you said, that 5-point burst. It opens the lead up to 10. He is now out of timeouts. Ryan Odom has 1 left. So that's an advantage. Both teams are in the 1-1. UMBC has committed 8 fouls. Binghamton's committed 7, and on tie up the ball with Binghamton. Let's get down to Paul Midmark. Paul.
Last huddle, it's amazing when you look at, when you watch Ryan coach sometimes. Last huddle, he said, I quote, when we get